Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So I had a request from Sarah to show my process of how I design portraits in Photoshop before I begin the drawing, and I realised I've never actually shown you that, which is weird because it's a big part of the process. So let's get into Photoshop and I'll show you how I do it for both a graphite portrait and a coloured pencil portrait. And yes, I am in my dressing gown. It's 2 PM on a Saturday and I can't think of anything else I want to wear at 2 PM on a Saturday. So let's get into Photoshop and begin. Here we are in Photoshop. I've just got the most recent version. I pay on subscription. I think it's £10 a month. So yes, this is the original photo. I actually took this myself because it was my friend's friend's friend who commissioned this portrait, and he was looking after their dog, and we went for a walk. So I got to take some pictures, which was really handy because she'd already booked in the commission. So it's a really good opportunity to get the photo that I wanted. I like it when there's light on one side and shadow on the other, so I had the lighting source, the sun, coming from this side, but because it was in broad daylight, everything's very cool. Her fur looks really white when in reality it's quite a bit more warm toned. So in the mock-up I decided to take it a lot more warm, just to give it a bit more of a classical portrait kind of look, and then I changed the background to be nice and dark, and she did say when I sent her this mock-up that she didn't like the yellow in the background, so when it came to drawing it I didn't add any yellow tones in the background. I just kept all of that for her actual fur. So here's the drawing that I made from this, and let's jump straight into how I created this mock-up, and also I'll show you how I do it for a graphite portrait as well afterwards. First things first, I'm going to go to File, New, and then make a file size that is the exact same paper size of the paper, so I'm going to go to inches, and this drawing was 10 by 12 inches. So just putting that in there. Sometimes I'll do 20 by 24 if it's a 10 by 12 drawing, just so that the picture doesn't lose any of its quality. But for this case, I'll just do that. Create. And here we've got a file that's the exact same size as the paper we're using, which is important. So then I'm going to open my reference photo. And here we have the lovely Busy on her walk. So I'm going to go to select, because we want to select just her body. I don't want any of this background in it. Select and mask. And then select subject up here. It's a really good tool, this one. You don't have to spend ages manually selecting it. It just does it for you. And then you can refine hair, which selects all of these tiny little hairs if it works properly, but it's not working very well on this one. But I'm going to just make sure none of that background is selected. So I went to this selection tool here and clicked minus to get rid of some things. The plus is to add things to the selection. So getting rid of all these people in the background enjoying their picnic. And just select Busy here. Click OK. And then I'm going to copy this. So edit, copy, and then go to our file that we've just made and click edit, paste. Got some weird selection things going on here, but we can just rub them out. Rub them out, and then rub out some of these sharp edges. But we don't need to make it too perfect because it's literally just a mock-up for our drawing. So I'm going to edit, free transform, and then you can change the size based on how much of the dog you want in your portrait. For this one I just wanted a little bit of the body, but the main focus to be on the head there. Enter. So first of all I'm going to work on kind of colour correcting. So you can just go to image auto tone, and sometimes that does a good job of colour correcting, but I like to do it manually most of the time because that's still picking up a lot of those warm tones. So I'm going to go to this little bit down here, the circle with the line through it, and select colour balance. And I want to get rid of some of these cool tones in the shadows. So I'm going to select tone here and select shadows. And then we can edit the colour profile of those shadows. So to get rid of some of the blues, I'm going to take this one up here and move it a bit more into the red. And you can just play around with this to see how you like your colours to look. So the blue ones here, so that you can see that gets the shadows really blue, or we can take them down to the yellow, which makes them a bit warmer. So I'm pretty happy with that. And now I'm going to go to the mid-tones and warm them up slightly. You don't want to go too far because otherwise the dog's fur won't look the right colour. But I did just want to make it quite a lot warmer. And then for the highlights, I'm pretty happy with how they were looking. So I'm just going to keep all of those at 0. And then we can see here, if you hide and select it again, you can see all those colours are much more pleasing in my opinion. So now we're going to add a background. So I just clicked on that background, clicked new layer. And then for this one, I wanted a dark brown. So I'm just selecting this one here and going for a nice dark brown. I like the backgrounds to be a bit less saturated so that the colours of the dog really stand out. So over to the right here, they'd be more saturated, and over to the left, they'll be getting into the more grayer tones. But I did want it to be quite dark. So we're selecting a nice dark brown, it's almost black. And then just selecting the paint bucket tool, and there we go. See, I can see now that's too red. So I'm just going to desaturate that a bit more and take it into the more of the brown tone. You can also, when you're doing this, look at the colours of the dog to see what the complementary colour is. So there's a lot of yellows in this in her fur, and the complementary colour to yellow is purple. So you can have a little play around to see if you want to either have a kind of really muted background, or if you want to change the colour to kind of complement the colours of the fur, depending on what the complementary colours are. So if I had like a really red toned retriever, what are they called? Spaniel, for example, like a mahogany tone in their fur, you could go for maybe a green tone because that's the complementary colour to red. So just look at the colours in your dog and kind of see what, have a play around. That's the beauty of Photoshop. You can really play around with all these decisions before you go onto the paper. This planning stage is really important. I usually make quite a few mock-ups and then send them to the client so they can kind of give me feedback, because I feel like the clients never really know what they really want until you show them some options, and then they can kind of visualize things a bit better. So here we have our dark background. Again, though, I'm going to take that a bit less saturated. I don't want it to take away from the actual dog. But you can see this takes quite a bit of playing around until you get the right one. So let's just go with that. I'm now selecting the new layer tool, and that's going to go, did 2 there, delete that one. So we've now got another layer on top of our background layer. So I'm going to select that layer and then go to the paintbrush tool, and we're going to add a little glow behind the dog. So let's go for quite a large size and the hardness to be 0. So if it was really hard, it would be really hard edges, but we don't want that. So let's take the hardness to 0, and you can see there that it's very nice and soft. So I'm now just selecting again, quite a muted tone, and just adding a little glow around the dog. That's probably a bit too bright. You can just do it full opacity, or you can change the opacity up here. But I like to do it first, and then I change the opacity in the layer section over here. So I'm adding a little glow, and I like the glow to be below the head rather than coming out the top of the head, because I feel like that just brings the focus to the kind of central point, and it's like the dog is kind of coming out from the glow rather than it just sitting on top. You don't have to add a glow at all if you don't want to, but I like to do that. And then you can change the opacity of your glow down here in the opacity. Make sure you've got that layer selected and not the background. And kind of see how much glow you want there. So I think I'm going to have it quite muted. And I still think this background is looking a bit too saturated, so I'm going to take it even more unsaturated. And there we go. So now I'm going to take a slightly smaller brush than the one we've just used for that glowy background, and wrong colour. Do a bit more of a textury kind of mottled effect. I like to kind of replicate the old masters' backgrounds in their portraits, how they kind of do really nice mottled glows, almost like a painterly effect. But you can change all of this depending on your style, obviously, and what you want to achieve. So now we've got that, I'm going to blur the edges because I don't want really sharp edges on the portrait. So I'm just trying to make this as accurate as possible as to how I draw it. So I've just taken the smudge tool over here, or is it the blur tool? Blur tool. And I'm blurring out these edges so that it doesn't look so stuck on. So when it comes to actually drawing it, I always give a soft edge. And whatever helps the client to kind of visualize what you have in mind, the better really. If this was just for me, I'd probably not do any of this. But because I want to send this to my client and have them have a nice kind of visualization in their head of how it's actually going to look, I go a bit further than I would if it was just for me. And then rub out some of these colours here. Make it look a bit more faded. And now we've got the background in, I can kind of see that I want the colours to be a bit different. So I'm clicked on the actual dog here, going to image, adjustments, levels, and here we can, so this bit here is the highlights, so I'm dragging them up slightly. Actually no, I think I want to keep them as they are because they're quite bright as they are. And then this one here is the midtones, so we can drag that down to give it a bit more oomph, if you want to say it that way. A bit more contrast and interest. So you can drag those shadows right down, or you can lighten them up depending on how you want to draw. I like there to be quite a big contrast between the shadow and the light, so I'll drag that down slightly. And you can also change the shadows here, so you can make them really dark if you want, but they're quite dark enough with the darkness of the eyes here, so I wanted to keep them as they are. And then click OK. So that's a really simple walkthrough of how I do that, and I'm pretty happy with how that's looking. So you can see here with the because the highlights are yellow toned, and then we can see here in the shadows there's a lot of lavender tones. So if we go on the color selection tool, you can see there's purple in those shadows, which is really good because the complementary color to yellow is purple. So the more we can get those kind of complementary colors going in the shadows and the highlights, the more effective the design will look. So there we have it, and now I'll walk you through how I do a black and white one. Oh, sorry, also, if you wanted it to just be a head and shoulders portrait without the body, you can just take that eraser tool on quite a large size with 0 hardness to give it a soft edge, and just erase that bit. I like to have the collar in it when I'm doing a head and shoulders. I actually prefer it without the body, but a lot of clients tend to prefer it with the body, so I send them one of each just to see what they want. But if it was me, I probably would have done it like this. Okay, so now let's make a black and white one. So I'm doing the exact same thing again, going to select and mask. For some reason it's not showing up what I do on the screen recording when I select these bits up here, but you can just follow what I'm saying. So that's selected busy here when we've gone to select subject, but I've already done it, so it's already selected. Okay, and then edit, copy, go to our 10 by 12 document that we've created by going to File, New Document, and then you put in your 10 by 12 inches. For some reason that didn't show up either. So now I'm going to edit and paste to get busy into our document. So now I need to change the size, so edit, transform. So edit free transform, the quicker way. And then for this one, I'm just going to do a head portrait with no body, because that's how I like to do my graphite portraits mostly. So I'm placing it nice and central there, making sure that there's the same space between ear to the edge. That's how I gauge how central it is. And then rubber. Get rid of this weird line that keeps being selected up here. And then I'm going to select quite a large rubber with 0 hardness. And this is 1000 pixels. And I'm rubbing out that body, giving a nice curve to that selection. So now I've got the head here, and I'm going to go to this little adjustments bit down here with the circle with the line through it, and going to hue/saturation, pull in the saturation down, and then from here we can kind of work out what we're going to do with the levels. So go to that little half and half circle again and select levels. And I'm going to pull those, because you can see here the shadows, there's a little bit of a gap here, so that normally means there's more room for the shadows to go darker. So I'm going to pull that up to bring the shadows down a bit more. And then play around with the midtones to see how dark or light you want your portrait to look. I want there to still be some information visible in this eye here, which is in the shadow. So I'm not going to go too dark with those midtones, but dark enough so that there's a nice contrast between the light and the dark side. And if you find there's some areas here where there's information lost because it's a bit too dark, you can go to the dog layer here and select dodge tool. The dodge tool basically lightens things up where you paint it. So up here you can select midtones, shadows or highlights. So I go to shadows to lighten up some of those shadows, and you can just do that over the eye, and that brings out a lot more of those little reflections that you can't really see, which is good for when you're coming to draw it. And then you can use the burn tool, which is basically makes shadows darker. Select midtones, and you can darken some bits up if you want some more contrast, which I like to have my portraits quite contrasty. And there we go, that's a really easy process of how I create my graphite mock-ups. I also just blur the edges again using the blur tool to make it look a bit more how it would look in the drawing. But you can go as far as you like with this. As I said, because I send these to clients, I like to spend a bit more time than I would if I was just making a mock-up for myself to do a drawing, because I want them to visualise how it's going to actually look. And there we have it. So that would be what I start drawing. So I hope this was helpful, guys. Let me know if you have any other questions in the comments, and I can always do a follow-up video if you need it, or just answer your questions in the comments. Have a lovely day, guys. Again, I really hope this was helpful, and thank you for being here on the YouTube channel, and especially thank you to all my patrons who make these tutorials possible. I can't thank you all enough. And as always, happy drawing.